Hey, good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to the Soak channel. That's SOAK, Son of a King, Son of the Most High God. Thank you all so much for logging back in. Today we're going to call our series Apologies and Fun Fact. All right. So a friend of mine's let me know this morning when I was talking to him on the phone as I was getting off from work. Uh, that on one of my previous videos, they I guess he had done forwarded my information to the person about the channel, and I think one of the videos I got a little too excited. Okay, so to that person, please forgive me. Okay, sometimes I get a little too excited, and my friend let me know that the person I think they mentioned like, hey, I like the channel or whatever the case may be, but I couldn't hardly hear him because he was seemed like he was screaming. uh, so please forgive me for that. Sometimes again I get a little too excited, and people that know me know my character. They'll say probably Council's a cool guy or whatever the case may be, and may say he could get a little animated sometimes, but a lot of times it's all in love. But I get excited about how I'm feeling about God's word, and sometimes I get a little overexcited and want somebody else to feel the same way. So please forgive me about that. I think that I may at times get a little carried away, and so if you see me doing that sometimes, make a comment or whatever the case may be, and because I really do appreciate your comments. And giving me that feedback so I can just tone it down a little bit. So once again, please forgive me for that, and thank you so much for your comment. Also, to that person as well, please comment on today's fun fact as well, and I'd like to again acknowledge you for letting me know that. Some people won't even say anything; they'll probably just don't watch again or whatever the case may be. No, say something, so I can make some adjustments or whatever the case may be, because I want this to be fun for me. I want it to be fun for you, and I wanted to just learn about God's word, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day, right? So thank you again. So fun fact, and once again, happy holidays also too to everyone. As you can see, this morning I finally made it home. Hey, also, some of you all know that I'm a firefighter out here on the streets and things of that nature. Let me tell you, it was freezing last night. Now, I don't have to tell people in Atlanta and people in the surrounding states and so forth or whatever. It was freezing. Well, you can only imagine being out in the elements. And then some of our friends on the fire department, they had a fire. I think they might have had 2 fires last night. And so just keep our members on the department in your prayers. Keep their families in their prayers. We've also lost a member on our department as well, not from the cold but from something else that had happened. And so a lot of our members on the job, they really care about people, and you got to care about people to do the job that we do. Not all our members but a lot of our members do care, and for those who definitely care and truly love the job, to help and serve, because that's what it's about. It's about service, right? Keep us in your prayers, especially during this time of the holiday seasons, and also we'll be here on this channel, keep you all on the other end of this screen, keep you in my prayers as well. Okay, so thank you again. Fun fact, moving on to the fun fact, and what I wanted to talk about here is Abraham. A lot of you know the story of Abraham, and some of you may not. But for those who do know the story of Abraham, you can look up Abraham in Genesis, okay? And I'll talk about the parts that I'm reading about that I did the research on, because the research I did was I didn't understand, like, what is this thing about putting your hand under the person's thigh? And maybe you know this here, but for those who don't know, I'm going to talk a little bit about that and what that meant. For you who do know the story, Abraham wanted his son Isaac to have a wife, but he didn't want his son to have the wife from where he was at. He wanted his servant to go back to where his family or his tribe was at to find a wife, right? And so he had the servant to promise or make an oath, and he said in the scriptures to put your hand under my thigh and promise me, blah, to find a wife, once I'm dead and gone. Now, usually they would do this when it got near to them or they got close to death. And I think the passage describes this. So I just thought it was a fun fact, something that was interesting to me. And so I thought I would share it. So I'm going to start where it says in the culture, or in our culture, taking an oath usually involves raising of the right hand or placing a hand over the heart on the Bible. It says in ancient Hebrew culture, we find something a little different. Genesis 24:9 describes an odd practice that involves Abraham's servant swearing to obey his master's command, to find a wife for Isaac. It says, so the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham, his master, and swore to him concerning this matter. In Genesis 47:29, Jacob makes his son Joseph swear to bury him in Canaan, not Egypt. So if you remember the story of Jacob and Joseph, there was the father and son, and the father, Jacob wanted to be buried, where he wanted to be buried at, and he made his son Jacob promise him that, and he did the same thing by placing his hand under the thigh. But I just thought it was interesting and how it continues on about why they did that. It says the same ritual is observed. Joseph is required to put his hand under Jacob's thigh as he makes the promise. It said, it seems strange to us in this modern day age, but placing one's hand under someone's thigh, or by placing someone's hands under the thigh, had a symbolic purpose. So it's saying that it had a symbolic purpose on why they would do that, right? It says in both cases, the request is made by the patriarchs, nearing death, as I mentioned. Also, both oaths deal with family matters. Okay, it says in the case of Abraham and Jacob, it says the family was blessed by God himself. This is in Genesis 15:5, 28 and 14. I just love to hear that. It says the family of Abraham and Jacob, the family was blessed by God himself. All right, it says the thigh was considered the source of not prosperity, but posterity. Am I saying that right? Posterity. Posterity. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It's not prosperity. It was considered the source of posterity in the ancient world. And actually, excuse me for not posterity. It says this is actually all future generations of people. Okay, and I hope I'm saying that right. Okay. Nevertheless, this was done back then in the ancient world. It says, or more properly, the loins or testicles. Okay, all right, the loins or the testicles. It says the phrase under the thigh could be emphasized for the loins. Okay, it says there are two reasons why someone would take an oath in this manner. It says Abraham had been promised a seed, all right, by God, and this covenantal blessing was passed on to his son and grandson. Abraham made his trusted servant swear on the seed of Abraham. So I can see now to a degree where, the hand placing by the loins, by the testicles, and so forth, and why they would do that. But it goes into depth a little bit more. It says that Abraham would find, that he would go out to find Isaac a wife. All right. It says Abraham received circumcision as the sign of the covenant. This is in Genesis 17 and 10. So if you want to know about the covenant, when God made the promise and he made this covenant through Abraham, and the covenant was the pulling back or the circumcision of the foreskin of all males. And at that time, God made that covenant and told Abraham this would be separate. This would make the separation between his people, and I think they had to do it by the 8th day of the newborn or the child. Okay, by the 8th day they were supposed to do that. All right. It says our custom is to swear by the Bible. All right. The Hebrew custom was to swear by circumcision, which makes sense. It says the mark of God's covenant. It says the idea of swearing on one's loins is found in other cultures as well. It says the English word testify is directly related to the word testicles, which I did not know that. It says Jewish tradition also offers a different interpretation. It says, according to Rabbi Ezra, it says the phrase under the thigh literally means just that. It says for someone to allow his hand to be sat on was a sign of submission, all right, to authority. All right. If this is the symbolism, then Joseph was showing his obedience to his father by placing his hand under Jacob's thigh. Abraham, servant, kept his oath. All right. He not only obeyed Abraham's instructions, but he also prayed to Abraham's God for help. In the end, God miraculously provided Rebekah as the choice for Isaac's wife. That's in Genesis 24. It says in the New Testament, believers are taught not to make oaths, but rather to let their yes mean yes and their no mean no. That's in James 5:12. It said that is, we should consider all our words to have weight of an oath or on an oath. Okay, others should be able to trust that our words, or others should be able to trust our words without requiring an oath. And I think that's a lot of times why some old school people would say to me, or maybe to you, that you know that, hey, your word is your bond. All right. If you say something to someone, say what you mean what you say, and stand on it, you know? And so that makes so much sense as things changed over the millennials, as it relates to the old customs and the Old Testament, the new customs, and even some of the modern day things, or the things that, you know, people say nowadays. So I just thought that was pretty interesting, you know. So just a fun fact today, as it relates to Abraham, and forgive me if I pronounce that word wrong. Some of these words in the Bible, or not even the Bible per se, I may butcher some words from time to time, okay? So please forgive me for that as well. Once again, this is the Soak Channel. That's SOAK, Son of a King, Son of the Most High God. I hope this finds you well today. Hey, stay warm. Hey, get with your families, bundle up, enjoy each other. Enjoy each other this holiday season. There are so many people who are going without this year. And if you can give, please feel free to give. All right. Please find in your heart to give, even if it's just a warm word to someone, some encouragement of some sort, or anything of that nature. To all my friends that know me, hey, happy holidays to you all. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves and your families, and we'll see you next time on the next video. Once again, shout out to that person that made that comment to let me know, tone it down a little bit. Please forgive me once again. This is the Soak Channel. Take care of you guys. Take care, you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.